NASA's Voyager 1 just did something no one expected, and it's blowing everyone's minds. After 47 years of faithfully exploring space, this tiny spacecraft suddenly started transmitting bizarre messages from beyond our solar system. It's sending strange structured signals that scientists can't explain, leaving everyone wondering, is it just a glitch from its ancient hardware, or has it found something out there in the vast darkness of interstellar space?
Shouldn't that change have been apparent if the vehicle had traveled from a place where the
Nobody thought
Contrary to the hurried assumptions of skeptics, the space probe has maintained its long life, thanks to its dual redundant computer systems. Like its twin selves, to be sure they weren't in a dream. Researchers were literally in a
had just hit theaters. Voyager was only supposed to work for about 5 years. The simple plan: check out Jupiter, take some pictures of Saturn, and then fade into history books.
Operating in space for almost 45 years and send data back to Earth every day from the solar system's
This refrigerator-sized machine with computers weaker than a cheap calculator has somehow kept sending back information for almost half a century. It's so incredibly far away that sunlight takes over 22 hours just to reach it. And when we send a message, we have to wait almost 2 full days to get a response.
The overlap was uncanny.
It's basically like throwing a paper airplane across the ocean and having it not only make it there, but continue flying for decades while somehow sending back photos.
When Voyager 2, Voyager 1 came equipped with 2 sets of command subsystems, flight data systems, FDS, and altitude and articulation control systems. This discovery soon began to melt as researchers kept clawing at it in search of an answer. Their efforts paid out in the end because they soon arrived at the golden door.
What might be the last message from humanity's most distant creation? A journey nobody could have imagined. To really understand why this strange signal matters so much, we need to appreciate just how incredibly far Voyager 1 has traveled. If you could somehow drive your car into space at highway speeds, it would take you about 20,000 years to reach where Voyager is right now. That's not just far from Earth. It's completely outside our solar system. Voyager 1 visited Jupiter with its giant storms and dozens of moons. It flew past Saturn with those amazing rings we all know from pictures. It took the first clear, detailed images of these distant planets, transforming what used to be tiny, blurry dots in telescopes into real worlds with weather patterns and landscapes.
This has been the secret power behind the spacecraft's unbroken fighting spirit when it comes to chartering through space. They had been on the lookout for. Researchers found out that the anomaly was linked back to the altitude and articulation control subsystems.
Bubble of influence ends and true deep space begins. It entered the space between stars filled with cosmic radiation, weird particle fields, and material left over from ancient exploded stars. Since then, it's been our only physical presence in interstellar space, our only explorer in this completely unknown territory. And the whole time it's been phoning, sending back data about what it finds using a radio transmitter about as powerful as your refrigerator light bulb. Until recently, those signals were perfectly normal. Now they've suddenly changed into something nobody expected. Built in a totally different time. To really appreciate why Voyager's strange final message is so mind-blowing, we need to remember just how old school this spacecraft actually is.
All theoretical models
Voyager 1
predicted
was
that the
built in the
heliosphere should ebb
1970s when
and flow.
computers
Uncovering discoveries. The redundancy paved the way for seamless transitions between systems and the ability to activate dormant computer components. And thereby, it turned out that the ACCS was the culprit behind this worrisome event. According to the Voyager's design, the ACCS was tasked with precisely
orienting system. Your smartphone is millions of times more powerful than this spacecraft. The code running Voyager was written on punch cards and magnetic tape by engineers using slide rules and basic calculators. But despite being so primitive by today's standards, the engineers built this thing to last. They included triple backup systems for important components. They used materials that could handle decades of radiation exposure. They planned for all kinds of problems with backup systems and clever solutions. Even the power source is genius. Voyager runs on what's basically a nuclear battery powered by heat from decaying plutonium.
preserving their
Solar
lifespan.
panels would be useless so far from the sun.
When designing the Voyager 1, the engineers back on Earth came up with a plan to help the space probe maximize efficiency, orienting the space probe and controlling its movements. Imagine the shock on scientists' faces when they found out that the ACCS had been sending telemetry data.
Makes its current weird behavior even more puzzling. How could something this simple, this predictable suddenly start sending completely unexpected messages?
But when its primary mission ended,
the wall
they
of fire.
provided to stun
Voyager's journey took it across a boundary more important than any border on Earth. In 2012, the spacecraft entered interstellar space when it passed through what scientists call the heliopause, though some poetically call it the wall of fire. This invisible
solar
line
wind
marks
was
where
at
our
its
sun's
strongest,
solar wind,
and if the
constant
predictions
stream
were
of
accurate,
particles
the
flowing out from our
heliopause
star
should have
finally
been
gives way to
further
the
out
particles
than
and radiation that
120
fill the space
AU.
between stars.
And this required that the probe's
Basically where our
instruments
solar
would have to
system
rely
ends
on
and true deep
hardwired
space
logic.
begins.
They were taking
Near
no
this
chances when it came to
temperatures
this
can
area,
hit over
since they were
50,000 degrees
handicapped due to
Celsius in
time
some
constraints
spots,
through an
though the
onboard
particles are
computer
so
that had
spread out
ceased
that
functioning
Voyager
years
wasn't
back.
damaged.
They couldn't
Still,
believe their
everything
eyes as they
changed when
discovered
Voyager crossed
that this
this line.
outdated computer, which shouldn't
The
have been
magnetic
involved in
field
data
readings completely shifted.
Didn't stop.
The cosmic ray level shot up and the spacecraft became the first human-made object to touch the vast emptiness between stars.
Venturing beyond
this barrier is space
the
that isn't
implications of
protected
this
by our
encounter
sun's
stretch
bubble.
far beyond the mystery of the
Raw,
event
wild
itself.
space
If
filled with
Voyager 1
high-energy
truly
particles
passed
that have
through a
been traveling
localized
between
zone
stars
where
for maybe
magnetic field
millions of
shifted
years.
instantaneously,
had noticed the probe.
It's totally
and
different from
responded
anything
raised
inside our
questions
solar
that
system.
went beyond science.
And Voyager 1 has been floating
If true,
through this
it meant
alien
humanity was
environment
no
for over a
longer
decade
alone.
now, measuring and recording
Theorists'
whatever it
models
finds.
of the interaction between the
Some
heliosphere
scientists
and
think this
the
environment
interstellar
might explain
environment
Voyager's
are
weird
getting more
behavior.
intricate now that
Could
the
being in interstellar
Voyagers are
space for
providing
so long
them
have messed
with
with its
constraints
systems?
and limitations in power
Did it
budgets.
run into some
The
unknown
electrical
field or
engineers
phenomenon
decided
that
the
changed its
instruments would have to be
programming?
developed
Or
using
is it just a
simplified
coincidence?
systems
The
that
natural
depended on
breakdown of a machine
hardwired
working
log
way
processing
beyond its expected
had by some
lifespan in one of the
unprecedented stroke of
harshest
fate
environments
found its
possible.
way into the telemetry
The signal that
transmission
shouldn't be
process.
possible.
Hence,
The
this
first
led to
sign
the
something was
corruption
off
of the
came in
data
late
being sent.
2023.
Researchers 40 years ago
Engineers at
revealed
NASA's
the
Jet
presence of
Propulsion
active
Laboratory, who'd
volcanoes
been
and
watching
fissured
Voyager's
ice
signals for
fields
decades,
on worlds
noticed
that
something
astronomers
weird.
had assumed would be
The
as
telemetry data,
inactive.
the info about the spacecraft's health and status, suddenly stopped making any sense.
And into the
Usually,
interstellar
Voyager
void.
sends back neat packages of
place
data in
no
a specific
human-made
format that
object
tells engineers
Instantaneously,
about its
plasma
temperature,
densities
power
surged,
levels,
and cosmic
instrument
rays
readings,
vanished.
and more.
It suggests the
But
existence
out
of
of
phenomena
nowhere,
in
those
interstellar
organized
space
packets
that
were
have never
replaced
been
by
observed
streams
or
of binary
predicted.
code,
Some might
endless
Something
sequences of
out there was
zeros
aware
and
of
ones
us,
that didn't match any
capable
pattern
of
Voyager should
interacting
be
with
able
our
to make.
technology, and
At
perhaps
first,
even aware
they figured
of our
it was just a
location.
glitch.
The probe
Maybe a cosmic ray had
Sun
flipped
left
a
a
bit in the
hot
computer's
ionized
memory, or
zone
the old
and
electronics
entered a
were just
patchy,
leaking.
partially ionized.
That kind of thing had happened
Thus,
before.
Voyager's
but when they tried
computer
to fix it
systems
with the usual
comprised
software
6
patches
onboard
and reset
computers,
commands,
organized
nothing
as a
worked.
distributed system
Each
with
command
3
took
dual
over
redundant
22
pairs
hours to
back to the
reach
Earth.
Voyager and another
This
22 hours
onboard
for the
computer
response
had
to come
somehow
back.
made itself a stumbling
Day
block
after day,
in the
the
transmission
engineers tried
chain of
different
data
fixes,
from the
but
Voyager
the strange
to the
binary
Earth.
stream just kept coming.
However,
Ever touched.
When they looked deeper,
For
they
decades,
thought maybe the telemetry
This probe has
modulation unit
drifted
had
through
failed.
the emptiness.
That's
its
the
systems
critical part
growing
that
weaker,
formats data
its
before
signals
sending it.
fainter. It's
If
Call
that
it an
unit had
energy
broken,
bubble.
it would
Others might
explain why
speculate about a
Voyager was
warp
now
in
sending
space-time,
gibberish.
a gravitational
But
anomaly,
something didn't
or
add up.
even an artificial structure.
If the system
While
had
there is
simply
no
broken,
hard
they
evidence
should be
for the
getting
last
random noise.
silently for decades.
Instead,
might
they
have
were
become
receiving
more
something
than a
that,
relic.
while making no sense,
might have become
showed clear signs
a
of structure,
bridge.
repetitions,
The
and
scientific
patterns that
community
shouldn't
was
show up in
divided.
truly
Section
random
of the
data.
galaxy. The
For a
hot zone
spacecraft
probably
running on
developed as a
1970s
result
tech with
of
less
a
computing power than a
supernova,
digital
an
watch,
ancient
this
star
behavior wasn't
nearby,
just
or
strange,
perhaps
it was
several.
impossible. Either
having
Voyager
overcome
had
this
somehow
hurdle,
reprogrammed
scientists had to
itself or
face the
something else
next
was
tall brick
influencing
wall in
what
their
it was
way,
sending back
which was
to Earth.
maintaining the systems.